This is the Aegis R2 from MSI, and this thing is a pre-built gaming PC, meaning all the work of putting it together has been handled by professional PC builders. In the past, putting together something like this from scratch would have taken most people quite a bit of time, and even worse, it probably would have been very difficult to find every PC part in white. Pre-built gaming PCs like the white version of the Aegis R2 come with all of its major parts in white, eliminating the need to search for each one individually. Let's take a closer look at the MSI Aegis R2 and also some reasons why buying a pre-built gaming PC might be more advantageous over building one in 2024. The MSI Aegis R2 comes in either a predominantly white or a predominantly black build, and all of those come with RGB in them. The white edition, which is what I have with me, was built using white MSI branded PC parts, which all look really good right next to each other. The white chassis that it was built in is also an MSI part with a removable see-through tempered glass on one side for easy access inside. Taking a closer look inside, the first thing you notice is how clean and well put together the entire system is. Besides looking really good next to each other, all of the major PC parts used to build the Aegis R2 have also been optimized to work really well with each other. Pretty much everything inside it is MSI branded except the storage drive and the RAM sticks. Speaking of which, the Aegis R2 comes with 2TB of NVMe SSD storage, which can easily be expanded using one of the empty drive slots on the motherboard. It also comes with 32GB of DDR5 RAM, which is plenty for most applications, and if one needs more, it can also be easily upgraded by adding more sticks to the two empty slots on the board. Something important that I noticed which really shows the solid build quality of the Aegis R2 is the vertical plate installed below the GPU, which was added to support its weight. This was a very thoughtful thing to do since it prevents the GPU from sagging over time. It is the kind of thing that most average PC builders would easily miss, potentially leading to issues with their GPUs down the line. For its primary cooling, the Aegis R2 uses Liquid 360 White, which is one of MSI's proprietary all-in-one cooling systems, and it comes with 3 exhaust fans attached to a radiator at the top. In addition to that, there are also 3 intake fans in front and an additional exhaust fan behind. On the opposite side of the glass, there's a mesh cover, which can also be removed using the same method we use to take off the glass. This side hides away all of the cables inside the PC, presenting a much cleaner look from the opposite side. Something worth noting here is how well cable management has been done, which, believe it or not, could be an issue for the average PC builder. The front cover of the Aegis R2 has a sharp angular design with a combination of both mesh and glass. This part can also be removed very easily by pulling on the top or the bottom side to pop it off. On the back of the PC, you'll find most of its I/O ports and connectivity options. Besides all the numerous ports on the motherboard, there's also 4 display ports on the GPU and a power port as expected. Moving on to the top of the PC, you'll find the power button alongside more connectivity options for easier access once the PC is fully set up. There's also a mesh cover up there that uses a light magnet in order for it to stay attached. Buying a pre-built PC like the Aegis R2 means there's going to be no wait time between purchasing and using it. On the other hand, if you decide to go the building route, then you'll have to be ready to wait until every part is acquired and you have gone through the entire building process before you can even think of using it. Setting up the Aegis R2 involves finding a well-ventilated area to place or to mount it around your desk area, and then hooking it up to a display using either an HDMI 2.1 cable or a DisplayPort 1.4a cable. At my desk, I have an MSI 49-inch super ultra-wide gaming monitor with a 5K maximum resolution and 144Hz of maximum refresh rate. It also uses a QD-oled panel, so expect colors on it to look super vivid and very accurate. Not every game supports the super ultra-wide resolution, unfortunately, but when one does, it provides a whole new and exciting way to experience that game. For me, any game I can play in the super ultra wide format, I definitely make sure that I do. After hooking up the PC to a monitor, all that's left to do is to connect the keyboard and a mouse and then supply power using the provided cable. Speaking of which, the Aegis R2 comes with a 750 watt power supply unit, which, like a lot of other parts inside it, can easily be upgraded if needed. Also, if you have a monitor without a built-in speaker like this one, then you may also want to consider adding an external speaker for audio. Setting up the PC takes no time, even if you're not a veteran PC user. It mostly involves signing into a Windows account and bringing the PC up to date for the most optimal performance. After that, it's ready to be used for just about anything from office and schoolwork to high resolution, high FPS gaming. Moving on to gameplay performance, the Aegis R2 is rocking an Intel 14th Gen i7 CPU and an RTX 4070 Super GPU that comes with 12GB of VRAM. When combined with the fast SSD drive and DDR5 RAMs, you have a powerful rig that can run pretty much any game at average to maximum display and graphics settings. The first game I played on the Aegis R2 was Wukong Blacksmith. Now, this is a game that was just released a few weeks ago, but has gotten an overwhelmingly positive response. I can't really speak for anyone, but I've definitely had a lot of fun playing it so far. One thing I don't like very much though is that it doesn't have full support for super ultra wide 5K, so it doesn't fill out the entire screen when set to that resolution. This has got nothing to do with the PC or the monitor and everything to do with the game's optimization for various resolutions and aspect ratios. If you decide to go for a super ultra wide for all of your PC gaming, you have to keep this in mind. Besides that, it ran really well with the graphics set to 1 below the maximum with maxed out resolution and uncapped frame rates. With these settings, I was getting an average of 100 plus FPS with dips below only a very few times. Gameplay was smooth and the temperature of the GPU remained below 70 degrees while operating at 98+%. There was also very little fan noise coming from the cooling systems, which I thought was great. I moved on to another game which I've been enjoying quite a lot on PC recently as well. Ghost of Tsushima provided even much better performance than Wukong, offering a very smooth experience using maximum display and graphics settings. Also, unlike Wukong, it has full support for super ultra wide resolutions, so I had no issues getting the full experience out of the monitor playing it. With the GPU putting in around 100% of power, I was able to maintain over 100 FPS most of the time, very rarely dropping below that. I also had HDR turned on throughout, which, as expected, made the game look absolutely stunning on that QD-oled panel. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of those games that demand quite a bit of graphical power to run smoothly, so I decided to give it a try on the Aegis R2 as well. I played this for a decent amount of time to keep an eye on FPS numbers through different gameplay scenarios. For my display settings, I had that set to the maximum the monitor will allow and then set the graphics preset to 1 below the highest. With these settings, I was able to average around high 50s for FPS numbers, which was pretty good considering I had ray tracing turned on and set to high. The next thing I did was lower the graphics presets by 2 clicks to make the game use less ray tracing and in turn, less GPU power. With the new settings, my average FPS numbers jumped up to the high 70s. Something very important worth noting about gaming on PC is that it requires tuning different parameters to find the best experience, which will vary according to different users. In general, those who prefer high frame rate gaming will need to use lower graphics presets than those who are okay averaging 60 FPS on demanding games like Cyberpunk 2077. Those are just a few games that I tested on it, and since it ran all of those very well, I'm sure it will handle any other game that's thrown at it just as well. The Aegis R2 isn't just great for gaming, it also handles productivity and school-related activities very easily. The 32GB of RAM it comes equipped with definitely helps in amplifying performance in this area since it allows for better multitasking and better overall performance when running productivity, office, and educational softwares. So whether you're an artist, a stocks trader, video editor, business professional, or a student, the Aegis R2 is going to have no issues handling your workflow. If you find yourself somehow needing more than 32GB of RAM for your work or school activities, then it's easy and affordable to buy a pair of 16GB RAM sticks and simply install them. You'll find that most people will not need more than the default amount, but it's great that an easy RAM upgrade is there if needed. There are some other nice features worth noting that the Aegis R2 comes equipped with. First is Intel's Wi-Fi 7, which is the latest in Wi-Fi tech, offering a more reliable wireless connection to the internet. This is especially useful for desk setups where there's no access to an Ethernet port for wired internet connectivity. Speaking of which, the Aegis R2 also comes equipped with a 2.5 gigabits per second Ethernet port, which is great for fast data transfer when using wired internet connectivity. Building the MSI Aegis R2 from scratch or something similar will 9 times out of 10 cost more since each part when purchased separately costs more than when purchased together through a single build. Even worse, white PC parts tend to be a special order item and often costs more due to how difficult they are to find. Also, if you decide to build, keep in mind that you will have to set aside a budget for a keyboard and mouse as well. The pre-built Aegis R2 comes with both of those bundled in with it, adding even more value for the money spent. You also have to account for the time it takes to build a PC from scratch, including time spent on searching for parts. This is time that could be spent doing a million other productive things while leaving the stress of building to people who do it every day, and even better, the original manufacturers of the parts being assembled. No one pays you for the time spent on labor, but this is a fee that is almost non-existent when looking at the cost to buy a pre-built PC versus the cost to build one. Something else worth noting is that MSI builds PCs like the Aegis R2 in local US factories to allow for fast delivery from the time of ordering. The build quality is also top-notch, considering each PC has to go through the best quality control standards being made in the USA. Only experienced or veteran PC builders will be able to match that level of quality. The average PC builder probably will not. The fact that most of the parts used in building the Aegis R2 is MSI branded also means they have the best chance of working seamlessly within one ecosystem. MSI will also always be the first to market with the latest Intel CPU and Nvidia GPU, considering they have the most share for co-producing with these companies. Warranty is another very important reason to consider a pre-built PC like the MSI Aegis R2 over building one. MSI offers warranty for manufacturer defects and has RMA offices in the US and Canada for quick and easy returns when the need arises. Building, on the other hand, doesn't come with warranty that protects you against issues arising from how your PC was built. MSI pre-built gaming PCs like the Aegis R2 come in at various price points as well to suit the needs of different types of users. If you find that you prefer more power, you can always opt for a higher build configuration, and if not, you can easily save some money by going for a lower build. In my honest opinion, there's very few good reasons to build a rig from scratch these days. Unless you're looking to put together something specific, it can easily turn into a big waste of time, increased costs, and zero peace of mind. For the average person who wants to avoid all of that, going the route of buying a pre-built PC like the Aegis R2 is a great idea. If you're interested in finding out more about it, or the super ultra wide monitor I used alongside it, make sure to use the links that I've got down in the description box below. Anyway, that's it for this video. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on the argument of building versus buying a gaming PC down in the comments section below. Would you prefer to buy a solid pre-built PC like the Aegis R2 or build your own? That's it for me on this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys in my next one. It's Tommy, and I'm out, y'all.